Alrighty, in this part we're just going to finish up the alloy and add the tyre to that as well. As you can see, we've got a little artifact here which you sometimes get with merging a load of symmetried stuff. It's basically just an extra vertices that aren't doing anything, so we'll just select all those and then delete them. Instead of remaking this part on the back, basically just going to select all these verts and then we can just copy it and use that piece again instead of modelling it a second time. Basically just using the mirror command there just to flip it around. And then just weld it all up. Good thing to do when you weld is go into border mode and select all, like Control A. It'll basically show you if you've got any holes in your mesh, like we just saw then. Was a few, so just have to up the weld threshold and weld it up properly. As you can see, the verts go quite a way far, so we won't be able to weld that, so we'll basically just go around and target weld them all up. Just using the X-ray mode just so we can see through the mesh. Alt X is the hotkey for that one. Just cleans up the back bit really. Make sure that's aligned to the middle. It's just going to roughly work out how many sides we need. I think I pre-worked that one out as well because it was a bit of a pain. Basically just use 30 sides on that one. Basically got to 30 because there's 10 points that go out, and basically it's used 3 per point really. Just using the top view here to get a rough kind of idea how the width of the tyre is. Yeah, basically just roughly matching up to the reference. Basically, yeah, that bit of it. If you ever need to snap something to like the middle where you've got a symmetry line, you can just select the border and then just use the normal align commands to snap it to the middle. And just making sure we've got edge loops on all our hard edges. Basically, we didn't want to connect this piece up like 10 different times, so we'll just delete this part and just do it the once, really. You can get away with just doing one of these spikes. I think thought it might have been different, but you can just do one. I end up doing two here anyway. Basically just do the same for the rim. Just delete the parts we don't need, and then we'll just symmetry it all around together. So just attach those together there, so we've got the same object to work with. Basically we don't need them little end caps, so just take those off. Yeah, basically with attaching stuff, basically just need to make sure the object that you're attaching stuff to has the same amount of edges as the one you're using to attach. So obviously we've got two edge loops around there, so then we'll just add those in. Yeah, we can just select the edges and bridge them up. Yeah, just rinse and repeat until that's all done. If you're thinking about doing all the edges and then doing one big bridge, then that won't work. You can only do like edge to edge. Doesn't like when you use like multiple edges that are not connected. Yeah, basically if we target weld those, then that leaves us with a quad here for us to use. Then we just cap that up and do the same again for the back. This time we got a few extra edges, so let's do a slightly different approach. Just trying to like model it in my head, as it were, trying to think of how to finish it. So basically if we just target weld this up into a corner, then we've got nice flowing loop, so the edges are nice and crisp, and also connects how we want to. And it's all corded up. There is a little dent in there at the moment. It's basically because the faces aren't planar. So we'll just fix that in a moment. So just select all the faces we want on the same axis. So basically that face was the offending one, so we're just, with edge constraint on, just scale it out so it makes the whole face planar, and then we'll just put it back to where we want it. And now the error is gone. So we'll just do the same again for this piece. Obviously if you just did the one, then you can just get on with the symmetries, but for some reason I did two here. Obviously now we know what topology we're going to be using. We can just use the cut tool to do it quickly on this piece. And just do a scaling again just to make sure it's planar. Okay, just double check when you're done. And just make sure this place is the face is planar as well. And the last little bit to go. Basically just selecting two vertices and pressing connect there. So there's an edge connect and a vertice connect command. Basically got the edge one on a hotkey, and then I'll just use the vertice one, which I don't use as much on the quad. Well, yeah, that's pretty much that piece done, so we'll just get on with the cloning it around to finish the piece off. Before we do, I'll just reset the X form, because we've done a bit of scaling and whatnot, so just best, like, when you finish a piece, just make sure you reset the X form. Then you know there's going to be no problems or whatever when you come to, say, animate it and rig it and whatnot. Just attach all those together, and then we'll just bridge up this final bit. Just a turbo smooth to finish, and just make sure you name it once you're done. That's pretty much our alloy done. So it pretty much matches up to our tyre there. I think we might need to scale again possibly, but other than that, that's pretty much there. Then just delete all the bits so we don't need any more. And now we'll just get on with making the tyre to go around it. So do a quick little adjustment to match it to the original reference. As you can see for our front viewport, which is a little bit more accurate, the scale's a little bit out. Basically from the stat sheet, the front tyre should be 120 mils, so we'll go by the actual dimensions rather than the reference. Which isn't too far off, to be honest. Tyre needs to actually go around this rim, so we're just gonna finish this piece off just so it all fits together properly. Basically just by doing a little extrude there we can make sure it matches up perfectly with the rim. Yeah, we don't have to make any new cylinders or not, it's just perfectly aligned straight away. Yeah, because we zeroed everything out, we can just snap it in that one direction, and we know it's perfectly central. I'm going to try for a while to try and make it with the 3 segments, but essentially too many segments for this smaller curve really, so basically just tweaking, but still trying to get something that looks right. still looked a little bit not smooth, like a little bit rigid, so we just collapse that ring there. And then we'll just get the shape with the just these few verts. So that looks a bit smoother. Just in the scale of it, make sure it fits actually over the rim. Yeah, we just finished the piece, so just make sure you name it properly. Well, so it's easier if you put like a prefix in front of it, so all the stuff on the front you can just put front before, and then you know when you get to the back tie you can differentiate between them. Basically just finish off the tyre wall here so we don't get there isn't a little gap in between the tyre and the rim itself, so we don't get any odd light bounces that go in there and illuminate at all, so it will be all closed off and dark in there, how it should be. Occasionally you get the bridges won't bridge properly, it will go to the next vertice, next edge even, so you can just do what I did then and just bridge one of them, press the border, deselect the two end ones, and then the bridge should work fine. So we'll just align the brake disc to the alloys and the tyre, as there will be our proper centre point, rather than the one we just did by the reference. I think that's near enough it. So yeah, just pulling out and then adding the second symmetry just to get the brake disc on the other side. And I think that's pretty much this piece. Catch you in the next bit.